Terroir. I'm Simon Jacob, your host for this episode from Jerusalem. Before we get started, I ask that wherever you are, please take a moment and pray for the safety of our soldiers and the safe return of all of our hostages. Welcome to the Kosher Terroir. This episode was actually part of the JM in the AM episode hosted by Nachum Siegel on NSN this week. It took place in Efrat at Rav Shlomo Katz's beautiful synagogue, which celebrates its third anniversary this Shabbat. We all tasted wines that were my suggestion for the 4 cups of this year's Passover Seder. There was also very serious discussion between Nachum and Rav Shlomo regarding the Shvi Shel Pesach celebrations that occur among Hasidic communities, and the custom of the 5th cup of wine at the Seder for those celebrating Hashem bringing them back home to Eretz Yisrael. I know that this could have been heard earlier as part of Nachum's morning show, but it was so meaningful to me that I had to publish it within my podcast. So without any further introduction, welcome to the party.
All right, Simon Jacob says that there are some recommendations he has for this year's Pesach Seder when it comes to delicious kosher wine. Simon, 20 years ago, there were only a certain number of kosher and especially Israeli wines. You know what's going on today in the wine market? You know what's happening now with Israeli wines?
There are over 300 wineries in Israel.
Happened?
Over 300
What has happened to the people that don't drink? All of a sudden, they're into wines from around the world, and especially Israel.
But that said, this is a much more important issue. Yeah. The more important issue is that we're coming up on a Shabbat. And Shabbat always has, after Shacharit, a Kiddush Club.
Whoa!
Okay.
Even Shirat David, let's check this out. I don't know if they have a Kiddush Club here.
And one of the problems is the real people who come to the Kiddush Club always need their whiskey. And the whiskey is chametz.
It's already put away.
So everything's put away. And to say that
what a conundrum!
It is. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. So just so that you should know, the people who drink whiskey, when they started to make whiskey, and also the other spirits, their goal was to create something like brandy. That was the goal. And the reason why it was a goal was because grapes weren't available all over, and brandy was only in certain areas, and it's actually also only in certain seasons to be able to get great products, okay? Where you can basically distill things any time of the year that you want to. So the issue was, how do you get something that's like brandy? Here we are on Pesach. You can actually drink brandy. Now, in the past, there were very few and really not very good brandies, especially here in Eretz. I mean, there was 777, which you could use to actually cook food on. I mean, people used to pour it into a container and light it. And that was really basically the brandies that were available. We are now living at a time where not only do we have wine, we have some incredible brandies. And they're not only brandies that are coming in from France that are absolutely kasher, but we also have brandies that come from the Golan. There's one of the best brandies I've ever tasted in my life is a brandy called Julius. And you can get it easily in Israel. It's a little pricey, but it's spectacular. And I strongly recommend that on Shabbat, for the Kiddush Club, it goes great with everything.
Thank goodness.
Okay? So you're solved. You're solved as far as the Kiddush Club is concerned.
Thank goodness.
Okay? So that's number one on the hit parade. I just want to make sure we get to the Shabbat Kiddush first.
By the way, Simon's solution is good 20 years from now also.
Yes.
Because that's the next time that Shabbat will be Erev Pesach.
It's good all the
let's
time.
Let's put this in the archives, right?
Yes.
That 20 years from now, they could dig it out of their computer file and find out what did the Jews of the 2025 era do when they were faced with this problem. And they'll have an answer.
Baruch
100%.
Look
at this, we're going down to history side.
100%. Great. I'm ready for them to use it in 20 years. Okay? So now let's talk about the 4 cups. Okay? The 4 cups for the Seders. For the Seder or Seders, if you're in
what area of the world you're in.
If you're in outside. So most of the mavens, with regard to the 4 cups, the mavens of wine, create they have a game plan. And typically they have a precise game plan as to what they want to do, especially in today's world with the wines that are out today and what have you. So they take different approaches. And last year I created a podcast where I asked people their game plans for Pesach. And there were some really interesting game plans. In fact, one that, especially for people in Hul, or only for people in Hul, included doing only Israeli wines for the first Seder, and then doing wines from Hul because it's actually only applicable in Chutz La'aretz. Okay, so that was one, and that's a sort of thing. And some people pick a wine that they love and they drink it for all 4 cups. Some enthusiasts pick bottles based on specific things that are going on in the Seder, and specifically people who are there, all right? And as we talked before, because there's so many wines, there's a desire to have a playlist the same way where you had you had a couple of music songs on your Walkman, as I remember, and now you've got thousands of songs, and you need a playlist. You need something to be able to go to, and to modify. Okay, first of all, I just want to mention that if their kids are in attendance, and if you want to stay absolutely awake for everything, there's always grape juice. And my family loves Kedem, and you can actually get Kedem here, which is actually from New York grapes, which is kind of crazy. And then there's Tirosh, which some of my family likes, but most of them don't. But I kind of like it. And that's the options for grape juice, but grape juice is always an option. Kabbalistically, there's a definite preference for red wines. Right. Okay, so you've got to really drink a red wine for the Seder, for the.
Some will drink white and pour a little red in it.
Yes, some people do that, or some people start out with a rosé. Right. So in the recommendations, I'm going to make it a rosé for the first wine, and I think that there's a reason for that. So
you have a very anxious crowd ready to taste some wines.
Here we go. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet and I'll pour.
From far and wide to be here for the big wine tasting.
Okay, so I happen to have
so this
4
is what
glasses
you'll
here.
Use for the first cup.
The first cup is La Forêt, the White Forest. Blanche.
La Forêt Blanche.
It's the White Forest, and the White Forest happens to be the Beit HaMikdash. Okay, and it comes from a winery that's in Yatir, near Yatir. It's in the Yatir forest, and actually that area was planted. The grapes were planted by David HaMelech in order for the wine that eventually came from there to be used in the Beit HaMikdash. So that's where that comes from.
You need to pour some for yourself. Everyone's about to make a l'chaim. You have to at least.
Okay.
The paparazzi's taking photos of you.
Okay, here we go.
Be careful.
So this is the rosé from there. It's actually La Forêt Blanche, and it's a wonderful. It's in 2024 and l'chaim. Ruchat Adonai Eloheinu. B'rei Priya Geffen.
Amen. L'chaim, everybody.
Okay, you're gonna drink it.
This reminds me of Sudas Mashiach. Wine after wine after wine.
Okay.
Oh, they don't do that Shvisha Pesach, do they? Of course. It's not an Afro Pesach, a diaspora thing.
So
Shvisha Pesach Shabbos afternoon, they're going to do it. I love it.
So this is a light wine. It's fun, which I really think the opening wine should be. It's low alcohol, and it's perfect. And actually, using a rosé at your Seder probably is going to generate questions. Okay. So it's the first question. Let's get to the second.
What's this one called?
The second is Flam White Label.
Nice.
It happens to be a rich, very robust wine. I'll pour less. I don't.
Yeah, you got to slow this down, Simon. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
We got people driving up to this, including you, by the way.
I know. Okay, so it's a white label by Flam. This is a robust wine. This is what's going to go into the meal, and it really needs to be robust, and it can carry forward through through the meal.
It's a
totally.
Magid wine. It
It's
needs
a good-
time to aerate, as
Yes,
they say.
it's a great wine.
you
Okay,
go.
some other wines that you might choose are like the Grad Vid by Castel, the Vitkin Cab Franc, or Shorashim, or the Shiloh Secret Reserve or Mosaic.
It sounds like you're getting emotional.
Okay,
Does
I am.
Does the wine make you emotional?
It makes me incredibly emotional. So L'chaim, we'll try this one.
L'chaim.
This is the cup 2.
I got to get back to this topic with Rav Shlomo Katz for a minute. You think your brewery is doing a Sudas Mashiach on the 7th day Pesach out of Mitzvah? I need to know. No? Not a chance. Okay, just wanted to clear that up. Oh, Rafi, you also weighing in on this.
We grew up together.
Oh, my.
Fairlawn.
Holy cow. And we thought we were insiders, Rav Shlomo. He really knows it.
They grew up together.
In
is
Fairlawn,
what he
New
said.
Jersey, it sounds like they grew up together in Fairlawn.
Yep.
All right, there you go.
Next one.
My machutins from Fairlawn. If
Okay.
I'm curious about this guy.
We're now up to the cup 3. All right. And you've got, this is a lighter red wine. It's something that's enjoyable. Jay, I think, brought up a thing of using a Pinot Noir.
Right.
Pinot Noir there are very few of them. I'm more interested in something like a Grenache, which is also a light, low, reasonably low alcohol wine. It's really good. Okay, so
You're pouring away, it seems. Can't get time to soundboard.
no problem. I'm happy.
Rafi, were you ever at Rabbi Yudin Seder or no? No? The Grenache.
This is a
This
Grenache.
is the benching wine.
This is a benching wine. It's made by Danny Friedenberg.
What did we
Wonderful.
fly through this Seder? Simon, I'll tell you. Record time, I must say. We're already at benching.
This is made by Danny Friedenberg, who's an
Yeah.
incredible winemaker who works for Tepperberg. So this is a Tepperberg. Again, all of these wines are accessible in the United States or Israel. So, and I'm only doing Israeli wines because we're here. Okay? L'chaim tovim u'shalom.
Chaim. That was some Seder, let me tell you.
Wait, we're not done.
First time the matzah's not weighing on me, frankly.
Okay.
And now the fourth cup. This would be the Nirtz, or actually the Hallel wine. This would be what we're sharing with Eliyahu and Avi. Am I right? This would be
Yes.
the wine at Kosher Eliyahu. So we got to be particular. We're not giving him no grape juice, Simon. We're not doing that.
This is a golden red wine.
for the number
okay?
one prophet, Simon. We're not giving him grape juice.
So,
No Concord Call for that gentleman. He's getting the real stuff.
okay, Nachum. Okay,
Go
Nachum.
ahead.
So,
Simon likes to play along.
no. So, Jay,
The number one kosher wine sommelier.
yes, Jay Buchsbaum brought up that he felt that he wanted to finish the Seder with a sweetness and a sweet taste in his mouth. So this is a sweet wine, all right, which is perfect for the end, and it really goes with the Afikomen. It's excellent. It will bring back the flavor of the Afikomen.
Nothing like that.
Okay, so this is made by Ya'acov Oryah. It's called G, and it's for a Gwurtztraminer. Okay,
Gwurtztraminer is what
it's
you
a
may say.
yes Gwurtztraminer.
Gwurtztraminer.
It's
One of
a
the first wine words I ever learned from Jay about 35 years ago.
yes. So this is a late harvest skin macerated wine, which means that it's specifically very sweet, but it's also not so sweet that it tastes like sugar. It's got a really incredible flavor. It's an extremely well-made wine, and it's made by Ya'acov Oryah.
Did you pour that one already or not?
No, I didn't.
All right, so
I
it's time
didn't.
to pour the fourth cup. We made it to the fourth cup, everybody.
I'm not being rushed or anything.
Well,
it's okay.
it is radio after all.
Okay,
All right.
I know. All right.
See, the crazy thing is there are a few things I just thought is that to ask Rav Shlomo Katz, and I'm not leaving town without asking. So he's got to get back on the air in a minute. So hopefully
He can come on.
Hopefully he has
Come
till
on.
4 o'clock with us. I hope. There's too much. Once I brought up Sudas Mashiach, there's too much I got to talk to him about.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hatov v'hametiv.
Amen.
Okay.
I think Rabbi Ice needs an escort home. He's a little too much. Could you call somebody, please?
Just wonder why you said Tov HaMetiv on this one and not the red one.
So why Hatov Emetiv is the question.
I actually make a tova metiv on every wine. Okay, I make it on
So
every
here,
wine.
knowing you were doing a series,
Yeah.
I figured you'd put it in something.
Yes, I would. Okay.
I think that's an acceptable.
Now this is made by Ya'acov Oryah, but there's a whole bunch of really good, nice wines. Dalton makes a wine called Anna, which is a Solera method wine, which means the barrels are left out in the sun. Castel makes an M, which is a Moscato. Specifically, I brought that up for you, Nachum.
That's my wine.
And Syrah makes a wine called Or, which is also a Gwurtz. So that's the lineup.
And I know where those 4 corks are going.
Yeah,
Simon
they're going
has
back in the bottles.
Oh, Simon has a cork collection in his house.
I do.
1,000 corks?
I do.
In one of those fancy containers.
Don't suggest that to my wife because she's been trying to get me. Yes.
It's Erev Pesach. This is the time.
Yes.
Hey, Barry Jacob, this is the time to get rid of that stuff and say you're doing it l'shem mitzvah to clean up the Pesach.
Put this on.
Simon, thank you for everything.
No problem. What do you think of this,
Can't
Rav
thank
Shlomo?
My favorite one.
What? Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
And maftir macharab.
Yeah, Pesach, Afikomen. Yeah.
Sudas Mashiach. Hatzot was exclusive to Futzlar to Than. It takes place here on the 7th day Pesach.
Definitely in this show.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like you brought it with you from the diaspora. It's had its... In Kfar Chabad, they're doing it.
Yeah. But it used to be mainly in the Lubavitchers.
Right. That was
It's all over in Breslov. It's very big in Sudas Mashiach.
Trust me, there are plenty of modern synagogues that have taken on the custom.
They do Sudas
You know
Mashiach.
why, Rabbi? Exactly. If there's an opportunity to have 4 cups of wine, hey, like we just did now.
Yeah.
So that means, in all seriousness, Shalosh Shudas time on Shvi Shel Pesach, because it is a Shabbos this year.
Right.
Shalosh Shudas time Shvi Shel Pesach will be, I mean, in all seriousness, 4 cups of wine.
It will be.
So with plenty of great singing.
Yeah. Yeah, by us, it's a lot of like real dvekas and Torahs that are really about all the longing that we have for, that has come across this Chag HaGeula.
Is there something about your Seder that I would find intriguing? And I'm sure I'd find all of it, but you got my point. Like, you know, thank God I come from a household where the Seder
Nachon.
is, you know, so there are always many highlights. Is there something about the Katz home where there's a part of it that would just grab me?
The most intriguing part is the one that leads the Seder. My father.
Seriously.
Yeah. My father's coming.
So you're the host, but he's the leader. Your wife is the host.
My
but
wife's
he's
the host.
leader.
I sit at the side of the table and my father at the front. My Abba leads the Seder. With the Nigunim I grew up with the Nusach I grew up with, you know, all those things that are really becoming my children's Gesa the Uncles. It's so special. It's such a privilege. Yeah.
So I'll tell you a short thing, and then I'll tell you what I learned over the last few years. As you get older, you learn more and more, and you realize how little you know, but I'm not in reference to you, in reference to me. First of all, what did I bring from the United States for Seder night? What did I bring? What did I bring that was not for my son, my daughter-in-law,
probably a bunch of Amazon,
my granddaughter, and frankly my wife, because she landed so late this week that we had to make sure to take her stuff in advance. So, what did I bring for myself? I brought one thing: my father of blessed memories, Haggadah, because different people in the family, obviously, were given different things to utilize, his becher, and you know, then different things. The ka'ara, I forget whose house the ka'ara is. It actually might still be ours, but the Haggadah that he would use every year is the one that I'll be using. Please God, at the Seder. Oh, it's unbelievable. And you talk about, thank God, having your father at your side and alive and well. I hold it, and I'm at the head because my children have such tremendous respect for me, which I don't take for granted. And I'm at the head of the table holding his Haggadah.
Oh, so special.
And it's just amazing. And one of my sons, I think I may have said this to you off the air, but one of my sons said to me, did you ever think the first Seder you'd ever be at one of your children would be in Yerushalayim? Is that cool?
It's so beautiful.
So that's number one. Number two, I realized that there's a tremendous emphasis, anybody who's listening knows this, on Torah study the night of the Seder. And I get it, right? Magid is a tremendous portion, and we're even families that don't generally spend time during their meals speaking a lot about Torah are immersed completely in the Torah portion of the Haggadah. But I realized, don't let the avodah get lost. The singing, the spirit, the incredible, I mean, I can only imagine, what's going on with your family, the incredible hislavus that one feels toward the one above through this experience, right? Chayav Adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu hu yatsa mitzrayim. We are obligated to feel that we're experiencing the Exodus that night. if you could come up with the right balance of the Torah and Avoda, of what feels, because when my father conducted the Seder, we have a special Seder Nusach, the Haggadah Nusach. This is the Nusach of the Haggadah. So it feels like davening. It feels like it. So yeah, there's plenty of Torah study, and we do talk about Harei Ani Kiven Shivim Shana, but that's done with a Nusach. That's done in a Seder Avodah, right? So that's another point I wanted to make. And finally, and your friend Rabbi Yoshua Fass would say to me now, don't bait me, because I don't want to say something I don't want to say, but I'm going to do it anyway. Rav Shlomo Katz, here in your shul, I can tell you that the story that begins with the Exodus from Egypt has only one ending, and that is V'heveti. That is the Jews of the diaspora, right? The Jews who spent hundreds of years in Egypt, eventually getting to Eretz Yisrael, getting the Torah along the way, etc. I would hope you would join me as we get closer and closer to this Chag and remind everybody that that is the ultimate goal. As Nachum Segal says very often, the future of the Jewish people is in the state of Israel.
You're baiting me. This is not fair.
Who are you going to go up against? The New Yorkers, the LA people? Who are you going to give Musar to now? I need to know.
You know that, I don't know if Rav Judah shared with you when you were with him.
Yeah.
He shared it here. He was here at Motzei Shabbos at a beautiful program we had for his new Agada. And he brought up the fifth kos.
He speaks a lot about it.
Fifth kos, which Rav Goran was the one to really point out. You know, he really tried to establish it, and he would drink it, which of course is a.
How do you drink it?
We're all holding right now by the fifth cup. Like there's nothing else. Everything kulam ahuvin. Everyone's doing amazing things. It's about the fifth cup more than ever. The heveti. So I give us a bracha to be tuned into that lashon, and I can't agree with you more because my father doesn't say the Haggadah; he davens the Haggadah. It's all nusach. Rav Shlomo's father, he used to say he gave over to him Yiddishkeit with the nusach that his father used to say halach ma'anya.
The same way every single year.
It's so. I give us all what you said is like the point of the whole thing. It's the night that you could give over Yiddishkeit to your children more than any other night of the year.
And I do believe, by the way, that if you do Seder night correctly, it enhances the other Yom Tovim of the rest of the year and the Shabbos table of the rest of the year. The children are more receptive to hearing more Torah and to be enlightened by more conversations about the Parsha, etc., etc. People don't realize how important Seder night is. It's a fulcrum of the entire...
You're right. In Chassidus, they say it's called Leil Shimurim. The night, what does it mean, Shimurim? Is that whatever happens Seder night, or it gets Shimur, it gets Shamur, it gets guarded, and it's basically placed throughout the rest of the year, just like you just said.
Yeah,
We bottle it up, and we save it for the rest of the year.
Right. The funny part is that I know that when people think of investment, they think of money. And we did point out, I think it was Rav Judah who said it during my conversation with him, we did point out that people spend more on Pesach than the rest of the Yom Tovim combined.
Oh, yeah.
So let the investment for the rest of the year in the area of Torah and Avoda be the same way. Let Pesach be as intense as it's supposed to be. And hopefully as a nation we'll realize, and I mean that as a nation, not just individually, all the people making aliyah, establishing their families here, sending the kids to the army, etc., but let's collectively as a nation appreciate the fact that this is where we belong. Again, not just individually and not just communities, but Am Yisrael belongs right here.
With joy.
Now that you're back on the air for the last 2 minutes, I'm being serious. I hope there's somebody out there who wants to help you build a mikveh. I'm serious. Why not?
Baruch Hashem, we've come a long, long way. There's so much programming here. I'm inviting everyone. I think I should know this by heart, siratdavid.com or .org. I think it's .com. There's someone here that's waiting for you to partner with you in the Avoda. Get the mikveh. We have an amazing...
Leil Shabbat is like what? How would you describe Leil Shabbat here?
I don't...
it's
festival? I don't even know what to call it.
Oh, you did say festival earlier, right?
What's that? It's intense. It's real.
And that's good that it's intense.
The best. It's a dream. It's a dream.
So you're not into my 25-minute Kabbalah Shabbos. You're not into that.
Not in the least. But you know what? I'll tell you the truth. It's also not about dafka making it 3 hours.
Right.
It's because it's not 3 hours here. It is what it is. It's just about Yalla, Kabbalah. Let's receive Shabbos for real. Kabbalah Shabbos. Let's receive it.
Yeah, it's funny. I was in Yerushalayim today, but meaning where I saw this. And one of the programs for Thursday night to attract youth, I saw the poster, I don't know if you've seen it, is Kabbalat Shabbat. And I said to myself, that's a good message.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about Shabbos is coming, et cetera, but let's start being Makabel Shabbat as early as possible and in the best way possible.
That's why Rav Shlomo would wish you a good Shabbos on a Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the second half of the week. And, he also wished me Gemar Tov on Chanukah because he felt that the Hasidim,
They did.
that they said Gemar Tov on
They say
Chanukah. Yeah. Should we do the whole thing now? Should we go through every Rav Shlomo reference we have?
We could.
Should I tell you every story that I have at this point? It's more meaningful to me, by the way, that I have personal stories with him now that it hit me that you never met him. Because, you're speaking to somebody who had the privilege, and I'm not joking around when I say that,
Yeah.
who had the privilege of, I'll never forget, he came once to my brother's shul. So people walked from everywhere because he was davening for the Yomid. So, how often do you get an opportunity? So it's now Chazoros Hashatz of Shachris. What is everybody waiting for?
Yom Kippur.
And there's a guy in the shul who tries to out Kalbach at his own Mimkom. And I'm talking about the real Mimkom, if you know what I mean. The early one. And I'll never forget it. By the way, that reminds me of another story I've shared with you, where Kalbach says to me that he bought a toy guitar. You remember now that I say that?
Yeah.
He bought a toy guitar for his niece, and he was on the plane before takeoff, just strumming along this little toy guitar. And then an old couple walks by, and the grandfather says to the grandma, "Look, another one trying to be like Kalbach." Isn't that great?
That's a compliment.
Not only is it a compliment, it's a story that can only happen to him.
No fun. No fun.
God bless you, my brother, and thank you for everything. I've had a lot of wonderful experiences in this type of share, and this has been just incredible.
I'm so glad. And first of many.
Ezrat
First of
Hashem.
many.
Nechus?
When I'm here permanently, I should visit Efrat on a more regular basis, shouldn't I?
First of many.
Yeah. Do a lot of live shows. Bezrat Hashem. I did joke with you that is there Hashkama Minyan in this building on Shabbos or not?
Is there
Well, we would call it traditional
Shabbos? No,
Hashkama.
there's nates every day, but Shabbos there's nates every morning.
So you won't allow Hashkama Minyan Shabbos?
I want everyone diving together.
Oh. Okay, I really have to start looking at you.
Even the Yemenites?
Because I joked
Temani?
with you that I'll be the one to move in to make
Right.
the 90-minute Hashkama Minyan, and you and I will be at odds forever after that. Anyway.
There's a shkama down the block. It's a nice minyan.
You see, we had all the bases covered. You have everything in Efrat. I move into this beautiful apartment that a friend of ours has and has said to us, please use it for Pesach, which is such a bracha from the one above. Mariv, 5 feet in front of the front door. Shachris, downstairs in the parking lot. And a Mincha Mariv, I just found out, also 5 feet in front of the door, just much earlier than the 9 p.m. Mariv. Isn't it amazing? Israel has everything. My brother wants to write a compendium of every minyan in the state of Israel.
Hatzlacha.
You know what that would take?
Hatzlacha.
You never see the Jewish link with
Yeah,
what's going on in Bergen County, right? This would be a lot more, right?
Encyclopedias, yeah.
You ever see the Davar Bita?
Yeah.
It would be like that. Anyway, I can do this with you all day, but Simon says we got to get back to Jerusalem at some point.
65 minyanim.
In
Just repeat
Efrat.
that. In
Shuls.
How many?
65 shuls in Efrat is what we were told.
That's
We were the
unbelievable.
45th or 46th when we broke ground, and that was before Tamar, the other 2 mountains here, took up. So, yeah.
Would you like to hear the Solomon Brothers to wrap up JM in the air?
Always.
Here they are. A big thank you to Rav Shlomo Katz, all of our special guests, and the wonderful city of Efrat for hosting us on a Wednesday pre-Pesach at JM in the AM.
This is Simon Jacob again, your host of today's episode of the Kosher Terroir. I have a personal request. No matter where you are or where you live, please take a moment to pray for our soldiers' safety and the safe and rapid return of our hostages. please subscribe via your podcast provider to be informed of our new episodes as they are released. If you're new to the Kosher Terroir, please check out our many past episodes.